Hey, what's up? It's Bon. Today, I want to talk about Star Wars Outlaws and their new story trailer they just put out. But first, if you like Star Wars, you're curious about Outlaws, you like Ubisoft Massive, The Division, Mass Effect, anything else gaming related, please consider subscribing to the channel. Like this video if you do. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this trailer, if you're excited for the game and kind of how you're feeling, or just say hello. If you really want to support these videos, my podcast, even when I stream every now and then, please consider becoming a YouTube member to get early access to videos like this one, as well as some other perks. So here you'll see in the background playing is the Star Wars Outlaws lore story trailer that just came out here on April 9th. This is ahead of the actual release of the game, which we now know is August 30th of this year. My kind of initial thoughts. I'm really excited for this game. It's been right up there with Hellblade 2 as you know, the couple games I think are probably going to be Game of the Year contenders for me, which I'll talk more about in a bit. It's coming from Ubisoft Massive. If you know me from The Division, or you know that I like that game, you'll know, you know, I'm relatively close with some of the people who have worked on this pretty quietly. There's not been much coming out about this. They've done a pretty good job of keeping it kind of under wraps. But this is the bulk of the Division 2 team is who made this game. I know that Ubisoft Massive just in the last year released the Avatar game. That was actually a separate team. I only know of one Division member, dev member, who worked on Avatar. Is Drew Reckner, who at least on The Division was did like the AI for NPCs and stuff. So the majority of the people I know who were Division devs actually have been working on this game, which has me excited for it. I love The Division, the first game and the second game, but I've always felt like they seemed like a team in a studio that really wanted to do narrative and focus more on it. The Division being a looter shooter like Destiny, I think those games just struggle to tell stories coherently, and you know, the story, even though they've done a pretty good job with The Division, with lore and various things like that, it's just hard to focus on it. So seeing that they got the chance to make this game, knowing it's a single player action adventure open world game, I felt like it was going to be finally their chance to do that. And from this trailer, it seems like that's absolutely what's happening, which is really, really great. Is really exciting. I really want this team to get this chance to flex a different kind of muscle. And from what we see, I think that they've done a pretty good job. I've already seen some comments from people commenting on some of the fidelity stuff here, about the animations and models and stuff. I think it looks really, really good. I did just come off of Dragon's Dogma 2, which has some of the worst facial animations and lip sync I've ever seen in a game. Not just a new game, but even a, you know, relatively old games. So maybe I'm a bit more forgiving. I also, you know, have played a lot of Snowdrop Engine games and know that they've always struggled pretty bad with like hair and, you know, especially in-game animations, and, you know, humans never quite looking right, where I think this looks really, really good. I think the hair looks great. I think there's, you know, a lot of good happening here. And I only noticed that in a few parts of the trailer, there seems to be some stuttering or just some kind of low frames. But I think the animations look really good. And I saw some people commenting on the actual like lines and writing too. Star Wars is kind of campy. Maybe it's bad writing. I have no idea. But I suspect it's more them trying to stay with the Star Wars style. We're also just getting a trailer here. We're not getting full context and full conversations and things like that. I don't know. I think this game looks great. I think it looks extremely good, actually. And I'm still really, really excited for it. It does seem like there's going to be more of an emphasis on like stealth and stuff than I thought. It looks like Nyx, your little dog thing that is your companion, is going to be a pretty big utility in like collecting things for you and setting off like levers or doors and things like that. But I'm kind of open to see what it's going to be. More than anything, I don't doubt that this is going to be a fun game to play. I think the Division 2 is pretty criminally underrated for how good of a game it feels to play. When you get into the discussions about balance and all that stuff, that's kind of a different maybe situation for a lot of people. But just making games that feel good to interact in and be in their worlds, Ubisoft Massive is right up there with the best of them, in my opinion. I don't expect that to be any different here. Obviously, when it comes down to narrative and graphics and all that stuff, we'll just have to see how it actually turns out when it comes out. August 30th is a bit later than I actually expected. With the way things were getting kind of hyped up, I was actually thinking it could come as soon as like June or July, but August isn't that far out, and should land in a pretty good spot when it comes release wise. So yeah, I think this is great. It is going to be a $70 game, as most of them are now. I think there's like $130 USD special edition. I saw that there's also a pre-order bonus. The pre-order materials suggest that there's going to be a couple story DLC. I do dislike that one of them appears to be releasing with the game, which is one of those situations where you have content that is releasing with the game that's going to be locked behind a DLC, a payment, a pre-order, or whatever. I don't like that. I think that actually kind of sucks. But it is what it is. What I think is interesting is, and what I'll wrap the conversation up with, is if this game is as good as it looks, as good as I hope it is, and it is a Game of the Year contender for me, and Hellblade 2 also meets that criteria, I can already tell it's going to be for two very different reasons, right? The two games that seem to be focusing on two very different things, where, Hellblade, we know it's going to be a shorter experience. I suspect its gameplay is going to be better than the first game, but may still not be the best thing about the game. Hellblade 2 looks like it's going to be mostly a visual showcase and a show off of everything the Series X can do, and depending on your hardware, what it can do. Where it seems like this game, I think it looks really, really good. I'm not expecting it to be the same fidelity as Hellblade 2, but it seems like it's just going to be way more focused on, action, the gameplay, things like that, actually being in the world and playing the game, and maybe not being as worried about being like just a visual showcase. So if I really enjoy both of them, I'm really curious to where I'll fall and which one kind of edges out the other for me. At the end of the day, I really, really hope I have that dilemma. I'm really hoping both of these games are so good that they're 1 and 2 in some order for me this year, and maybe we'll get a few other surprises as well. But overall, I think this was a pretty solid showing. I think it's kind of what they needed. I think we'll certainly get more info about it during May the 4th when they do their Star Wars celebration. I bet we'll get a little more footage. And then again in June 10th, when Ubisoft does their Forward show, I think we'll definitely get more, and we will, we'll go from there. And that's just kind of what I have for this one. I'm glad Ubisoft Massive released this trailer. I think it was pretty good timing. It's just far enough out from the game to get people pretty excited. And I think overall it's going to be received really well. Unfortunately, you're always going to have that some people just don't like Ubisoft. Some people just don't like Star Wars. One of my biggest concerns for this team was making a game in the Star Wars universe with a fan base that can be rough. I think the Division fan base has probably prepared them a little bit for that, but maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm basically seeing that I think this game is going to be kind of similar to Jedi Survivor for me, where Jedi Survivor was probably my third favorite game last year, in a year where I had 10 favorite games, right? And I'm excited to see what comes of it. So that's what I have for this one. Again, if you like Star Wars Outlaws if you're curious about it. If you're curious about anything else that I cover, like Mass Effect, The Division, and gaming in general, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button if you like the video, and leave a comment down below with your thoughts. And if you want to become a YouTube member, you get videos like this early, and you help support me making these videos, my podcast, and even streaming here and there. So do that if you wish. That's all I have for this one. So until next time.